Hi Taurus, welcome to Yellow Card No Tarot with me. My name is Carole and this is going to be a general reading for you for February 2026. And if you're coming back to my channel again, I want to thank you so much for supporting me. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I would encourage you to subscribe because that really helps my videos get out there for other people. And since it's a healing channel, I think it's important that these videos get out for people. So, what I did before we came on, is I pulled a couple oracle cards for you from the Shaman's Dream Oracle and also the Return of Spirit. And you're going to notice that I'm going to start bring shamanism into the readings a little bit here and there. I am a shamanic practitioner, so if any of you are interested in a healing, I do distance healing. And even if you just want to get in contact with me, there's a link below and there's a free 15-minute consultation for you. And there's no pressure whatsoever to even have a healing after the consultation. If you want, you can, never contact me again. It's up to you. It really is. You have to feel like you want a healing and you want to step into more healing. And especially if you are someone that's been dealing with something that no one can seem to help you with. And when you do shamanic healing, you are working with the spirits. They are the ones that do the healing. And so it's very powerful. In fact, that's what they're going to do, is they're going to re-empower you. They're going to give you back your power. So, yeah, and I also do some personal tarot readings. If you're interested in that, there's also a link below in the description box. So for the topic I like to have sort of a topic for each month. And this month, right away, it finally came to me a few days ago, and it was all about authenticity. And so I had to think about what card in the deck represents authenticity. And I know there's one that I always talk about, and this is the Ace of Swords. Whenever that single ace shows up with the court cards or by itself like this for this ace, it speaks to me of that sword that's going to cut through all the bullshit. It's that sword that's going to help you to see more clearly. See things exactly as they are, not how you wish they were, right? Because we often can be, for instance, in a relationship with someone, whether it's an intimate partner or even like a friend, a colleague at work, where we know that maybe this person isn't right for us, but we just can't seem to let it go because we've convinced ourselves that it's okay to be in this relationship. In this reading, I'm going to be asking you to get more honest with yourself. I'm going to really dig deep, and we're going to find out somewhere, something in your life where you're sitting with a lot of illusion and false beliefs around something. So I'm going to ask you to get uncomfortable, which means you're going to have to feel some emotions. And oftentimes I've been pulling out some emotions that you're needing to feel. And so authenticity is going to be from living from a place of and speaking what's real for you, right? And not what people told you you were or people taught you to be. This is really about you coming clean with yourself and finally putting yourself first and becoming the person that you were always meant to be. The authentic part of you, right? And so the two cards that I pulled for you, first one was fascinating. This was the one from the Shaman's Dream, and this is called Cosmic Womb, the Divine Feminine. And it's interesting because both of these cards, often when cards come out, they can kind of support each other. And these two had a very powerful meaning for you, and both of them were saying the same thing. So this first one talks about creativity, this cosmic card, the cosmic wound, and it's creativity is a divine feminine trait. It's a beautiful divine feminine trait. And so this card's coming out to tell you that that Taurus, you are undergoing a process of birthing a new you. And maybe you know it. And you know, we don't know what it is yet. We never know. I'll never sit here and predict the future for you because we just don't know. We don't know what, you know, we can predict, we think, oh, this is going to happen, and then something else happens, right? But we don't know. But maybe you felt stagnant lately. Maybe you felt stuck. But this card's saying that this is your most fertile period right now. This is the time for you. This is when your creativity is just ready to soar. And then you got the celestial card. And the celestial card told me that there are all these divine beings that are here to help you. One of the things I do in my shamanic readings, my shamanic healings, are what's called divination. I can actually contact the spirits on your behalf and ask them, what should this next person do? Or is this person meant to go on to this path? And the spirits will tell you. They'll give you an answer. It's fascinating. So maybe you're struggling with your purpose. Maybe you've been wondering, you know, what's my role? What am I doing here? And so, and maybe you're doubting that you even have creative gifts. Like, what do you mean gifts? There's nothing creative about me. But you're uniquely gifted in your own way. All of us are. And when we start peeling the layers of, when we start to heal and we peel more and more layers and we get deeper and deeper, then we start getting in touch with some of these creative gifts. Like, for instance, tarot was one of the gifts that came to me. And so this card's saying, you know, don't give up, have faith that things are going to be happening. This is a really fertile period for you. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to look at the reading, because I imagine that the reading is called Coming Back to Your Truth. And so when this first card that I want to pull out, and I'm going to be using the Curious Travels Tarot deck is what I'm going to be using. And so I'm going to ask for what illusion or false belief you're holding on to that needs to be released. Because in order for you to go to this next step of creativity that you're meant to go in, you're going to be needing some clarity, obviously, because I think you're sitting here wondering, you know, what is my next step? What am I supposed to do? But I think this reading for you is going to help you in that it's going to point out where you need healing, because oftentimes when we want to move into that direction, this new direction, we have to heal first. We have to see what's blocking us from going there. So what illusion or false belief does Taurus have? That one wanted to come out. You got the Six of Cups in reverse. And then what in you needs healing in order to let this go? Whatever it, yeah, that one wants to come out for sure. You have the Ten of Cups when you were, that's your, I was going to say when you were younger. That's your shadow, this second part. We're going to do some shadow work there, because this needs to heal from your childhood or your adolescence in order for this to, in order for you to be able to heal this or let this go. And what does the tarot suggest for you in order to reconnect with yourself, Taurus? Wow, two powerful cards. The Magician, which I've seen quite often in these readings this month, and the Moon card. Two powerful energies for you right now. It's like, you know, those two cards that came out, the Celestial card and this one, it's like these are, especially the Celestial cards, like these it's saying that you have these divine beings around you. You have their support right now. And so these two energies that are coming out for you, the end, I think, are repeating that for you, that definitely you have the support. So I'm going to clarify with the AE White deck. But I want to look at, first of all, you know, you have the Six of Cups in reverse about the illusions or false beliefs you have about yourself. There's something around childhood here, because this is what the Six of Cups is all about. You see these little girls playing, and they're doing each other's hair, and very innocent. This is a real card of innocence and nostalgia about childhood, and it could actually be an inner child card as well. But it's in reverse here. So I think there's something here that is coming up from childhood that you don't remember. You maybe have put into denial. You're in denial about it. But there's something here that is coming up for you, whether like, yeah, it could be a memory, something from childhood. So let's take a look. I want a couple more. Couple more cards here. Well, that one wanted to come out, and then that one. So we'll take these two. Yeah. You have the Justice card in reverse, and then the Two of Wands. Very interesting set of cards here for you. So the Justice card's in reverse, and so it's a card that speaks about, again, it can, often people will see that as a card of authenticity. But for me, the Justice card is, it's a card about balance, and he's also got a sword in his hand, if you've noticed. He's got the sword right here. So he's got that sword of, let's cut through the bullshit here. And then he's also got the balance with him in the other hand. And so this is about fairness. That's the word I heard. And it's in reverse. So I'm thinking there was something in your childhood that came about, that happened to you, that was unfair. Something happened to you, and I still think that maybe you haven't got to the truth of it, or you haven't maybe healed what it was. I mean, we'll find out more in your shadow here, but you're wanting to get to the truth, and it's been buried. It's in reverse. Like I said, maybe you don't want to see it. So there's a lot of unknown as far as some sort of belief system about yourself, or an illusion you've had from childhood. You picked it up in childhood, and there's some real need here for you to get to it, because it was unfair. Whatever was told to you or happened to you was unfair. And it has this Two of Wands right here. It's the last card here that's right behind the Justice card. I believe that, now this remember the Oracle cards talked about creativity right now. You're in a really fertile period. So this is related to, I'm knowing what this is now. This is related to wanting to do something. Wands is about taking our life into a purposeful direction, into a new direction. Wands are very creative. They're the energy that wants to take off and be creative. When you were younger, I think you were that type of person that dreamt big maybe. You know, you saw that there was more out there than just this small little, globe that you have in your hand. You realized that the world was a bigger place than what it was for you. And I believe that you had a nudge to do something. You would have probably had a nudge to do something very creative, which meant that was probably something that you were meant to do. That was your truth. That's who you were really meant to be. And something happened here where you weren't allowed to. I often think of in a family, this is an example of a family situation where you were the one that wanted to do something amongst your siblings maybe, and ended up that one of your siblings was the one that got to do that and was encouraged to do that. And maybe you were told that, no, you can't do that for a certain reason. You're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you're not strong enough, you're not whatever, right? So there was something that happened to you when you were a childhood. And so I think you've picked up that belief that, when I talked about clarity, creativity, and I said, you're probably sitting there going, I'm not creative. And did you say that? Did you say that when I was talking about creativity? I don't have anything creative. I don't know what it is I want to do. You know what you want to do. You have it in you. And I know you have it in you because you have the magician that's sitting right here. We're going to get to him. And he's the card that says you have everything in you. You have it in there. You know. Deep down, you know what it is that you are meant to do. You know, what are you here for on this earth? There's something here. And I think when you were younger, you were told unfairly that you either can't do this, you're not allowed to do this, and you were handed a reason why, and it was not true. And you've grown up believing that about yourself. Maybe you know what it is. And so, what needs healing? So you start off with this 10 of Cups here. What needs healing is there's a lot of emotions here. Because this is everything you buried when you were younger. And so when this happened to you when you were younger, there would have been, think of a child being told you're not allowed to do something. Well, you're going to have, feelings of grief, a lot of sadness there, right? Not being able to do something that you want to do, that you're meant to do when you come on this earth. And also, and when you're like 4, 5, 6 years old, we know exactly what we're supposed to do. And also maybe some feelings of feeling unworthy, right? Because there may be hopelessness, depression, like things like that will settle in when we're told that we're not allowed to do something and treated unfairly. We're told, why we can't do it when it wasn't true. And so what's underneath this 10 of Cups, these emotions, this full range of emotions that we're all meant to feel, but you didn't get to feel these emotions around this unfairness that happened to you when you were younger. One more card. I think this came out and then this came out. Yeah. So what happens to us when we're very young and we have all these big emotions that need to come out, like grief and shame because, we're not good enough or whatever it was told when you were younger. What happens to those big emotions? Where do they go? Because we can't feel them when we're younger. We're too young. We don't have the capability to do that. So what happens? Well, we have what's a part of us, what's this called our ego self kicks in. And here he is right here, King of Wands. The wands, again, like I said, is that purpose, your creative purpose that you're told no. Well, first of all, this King of Wands would have kicked in and would have taken you out of your body when you were younger, so you didn't have to feel that grief, so you didn't have to feel that shame, and it puts you right up in your head. Because the ego self is all about keeping you in your mind, right? Because there's no emotions up here. And so you had a very protective part, which is our ego self. He's a very protective part. Well, he protects you. I mean, when we can't feel these emotions, we need this part to save us. Because for you to grieve, and you would have, it felt like death to you to be able to do that. And so you were put right up in your head so you didn't have to feel. And here you are up in your head. This 2 of Swords. This is this individual that is definitely, blindfolded and has crossed their heart with those 2 swords, right? So you've closed your heart so you didn't have to feel. But look what's behind you. All this water. That's all emotions. Water's always emotions. All and on any card. And so as a child, you literally gave up on emotions. You gave up on feeling because it just wasn't a safe thing for you to do, to feel. And here's this little Page of Cups. My pages in my deck are inner children. And so this one is the Page of emotions. If I had to pick one card on this table that's probably the most important card, it's this little inner child of yours. He is the card I call my love seeker, your love seeker. It's the one inner child that you want to get to know. I've been on my own intensive healing journey for about 9 years now, and I know that I have more than one inner child. Mainstream psychology says we have just one, but I know I have more. And this particular one is the one you want to get to know because it has the cup backing them up. It has love backing them up. But it's the inner child, the one that didn't get the love, the one that wasn't allowed to feel, the one that's so desperate for love. And I think that this little part is causing you a lot of chaos right now in your life. And this is what happens when we have this particular one. these pages that need to be healed, these inner children. And especially this one. This will cause the most chaos in your life, in all your relationships, you know? And it is the one that we need to grieve for that little part of you that didn't get the love you had when you were younger. And because you didn't get the love, you were not allowed to feel your emotions when you were younger. And somehow you were told that you're not a creative person. You were told that you couldn't do certain things. And so you've got this really hurt part of you that wants to grieve. And that's what you have to do as an adult. You now have to grieve. And what does that mean? Well, it means that you have to sit and in a very quiet, still place so that you can ground yourself and get into your body and sit with that grief and just feel it and cry like you've never cried before. There's a huge difference between crying and grieving. If you're one of those people that just cries all the time, it's a lot different than grieving. Grieving is when you just finally let yourself go. It almost sounds like you're laughing, but you're just grieving and just letting it go. You need a real quiet spot to do it so that other people will think, what the hell's going on? But that's a beautiful thing when you can just clean it all out. And that's what your younger little love seeker wanted to do, was just wanted somebody to love them, and they just have so much grief in them. And so that's the emotion that you're feeling in this reading, is there's a lot of grief here you have to get to. Grief because you weren't allowed to do what you wanted to do, right? And here it's coming up for you right now. You're in a really fertile period. The oracle card says you're in a place where, now it's time for you to go do what you want to do, right? This is what you wanted to do when you were younger. There's more out there for you, but you gotta grieve first. So what's the tarot suggest for you, Taurus? Well, the Magician card comes out. And that's the one that I said, that's the beautiful card. He's been coming out a lot in that exact spot right here. Because this is the card that is the manifester. Like, he can manifest anything. And I don't use that word lightly because so many people use that word, but in order to manifest something, we have to be very grounded. We can manifest somebody in our life. Like, I want to manifest a relationship, an intimate relationship in my life. But then oftentimes, if you're not in a grounded place, you're going to invite the same type of people that you've always been inviting in. And, it'll be probably for another lesson that you have to learn about this because you haven't healed the last time. But this card says he's grounded, very much grounded, the Magician card. He has everything he has all the elements here. He has everything at his disposal. But notice how he's standing beside that tree, right? And I often see that this magician is this tree himself. And that shows you how grounded he is into the earth. His roots are planted. And it's a card that says, when you are grounded, you have everything in you to be able to bring this into fruition. You can do this. You can do this for yourself. But you have to get grounded into your body. And that's where you're going to feel this grief. And the Moon card comes right behind it. And it's saying there are some things here that are hidden, And also, what's most important about the Moon card, not only that things are hidden, but we can find out what those things are hidden, or we can find out what our next step is. We can get clarity when we access our intuition. Intuition is a beautiful feminine quality again. We're talking about creativity. Now we're talking about intuition. That's another quality that all of us have access to. Male or female, or it doesn't matter what your gender is. It's a feminine quality, but you have to be in your body. You have to be grounded in order for you to access your intuition. That's your inner knowing, that's your gut knowing. That's knowing what the next step is for you. That's your clarity. So there's a real need for you to get back into your body, to ground, so that you can get in touch with your intuition, your knowing, your creation. And then you have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse that comes out for you next as a final card. And the Seven of Pentacles is this individual that is in an upright position. He's looking at all these pentacles that he spent his entire life hoeing. And then when he's all done, he looks at him and he says, is this everything? There's got to be more out there. This is it. And I think for a long time, you've been giving up. You've been thinking that there's nothing out there for you. Like we said at the beginning, maybe you're really been in a stagnant place. You've been sitting and wondering, what's out there? Well, what am I supposed to do with my life? I was talking to someone last week, a 72-year-old man, and he's still teaching. He's actually a professor at a university. And he literally said, I don't want to retire because I don't know what to do with myself. How many people say that? Or they just don't think that they have another purpose or something else beyond that. And so this is what this card is saying for you. The universe wants you to turn that around and say, there's more out there. I know right now you're thinking, is this it? There's no more out there, but there's definitely some more out there. But you will find out what that is once you ground, get into your body, and start to grieve and feel what it was when you were younger that you were told, nope, you can't do this. You're not allowed to do this, because there's something here that wants to bring you in a new direction. So I want you to have compassion for yourself. I'm going to leave you with some grounding videos so that you can learn how to ground into your body. This journey that you're on is the most difficult journey of your life, but it's the most important one. So stay safe, and I will talk soon. Bye.